and this is it. Amazing. A pleasant surprise, something that causes wonder. That is what we're shooting for here. We want to raise kids who shine like stars in the night sky. Kids who are a pleasant surprise in our increasingly dark world. Kids like this are sure to make people wonder. And then we can hope that wonder will point people to the amazing God behind it all. You'll find 3 themes throughout this book. Since my book, Boy Mom, What Your Son Needs Most from You, came out in 2019, these are the 3 topics I've been asked about the most. Number 1, kids and faith. God created us all to know him, and kids who grow up in a relationship with Jesus have a solid foundation for an amazing life. This is the most important thing I can share with anyone. Now, if you're not a spiritual person, I hope you'll read on anyway. I think you'll still get a lot out of the topics here, and I hope what you read gives you reason to consider God's love and plan for you and your family. Number 2, family relationships. If you follow me on social media or have read my blog, you probably know that one of my favorite things to talk about is the strong friendships in our family. They're such a joy, and I wish the same for all of you. And 3, character. Character is a huge key to everything we most want for our kids, and it's a topic I've researched a lot. While the topic can seem overwhelming, I do my best to make it simple, practical, and achievable. These 3 themes and more will be covered in the chapters ahead. Now, briefly, about those dishes. The subtitle for this book mentions kids doing dishes without being asked. This grew out of conversations in my family when at some point we all began to connect doing dishes with good character. I mean, does anyone want to do the dishes? Is anything more humble or generous than doing the dishes without being asked? Obviously, the point isn't necessarily doing the dishes, but the heart behind doing them. Our goal is to raise each of our kids into a young man or woman who has a servant's heart and doesn't shrink back from doing hard things. And ordinary daily tasks like washing a sink full of dishes are often the training ground to get them there. Note, I invite you to share via social media your own kids' shining moments of doing dishes and other amazing things using #RaisingAmazing. Check out the accompanying PDF for more resources and information. I can't wait to cheer each other on as we go. Second, about fame and fortune amazing. Ah, yes. Some of you picked up this book because you're hoping to raise uber-successful world changers, kids who win gold medals in the Olympics or invent the next smart something or discover the cure for cancer. I'm glad you're here. Yes, this is for you too. Personally, I love the idea of raising kids who will do big things in this world. I'm a go-getter by nature. One of our family mottos is go big or go home. When my oldest son, Josiah, was 8 and said he wanted to invent flying cars, I said, then get started. When at 10 years old, my son Luke said he wanted to be a world champion surfer, I said, I believe you will be. And as I finished writing this book, he just won the junior world champs. When my son Jonah was determined to raise his SAT scores enough to get a college scholarship, I said, go for it. No, that's not true. I actually told him it wouldn't happen, but you can read that story in chapter 10, and I apologized to him later. The point is, I love cheering on kids to shoot for the stars and do great things, and I think we should be our kids' biggest fans. But doing big things is not the heart of this book, and it's certainly not the heart of my parenting. In fact, while worldly success is often the byproduct of a character-rich life, and most of the pro athletes and high-achieving people we follow credit hard-earned character qualities for their success, that's not the goal here. If you ask any of my kids, and you'll hear from each of them throughout this book, they'll tell you that my husband Dave and I are enthusiastically focused first and foremost on their relationship with God and their character. We're more concerned with who they are than what they'll do. We're more interested in their having a strong walk with God than anything else, and we cheer them on to follow him wholeheartedly. We also know that often a life yielded to God's plan is a quiet and modest life. Nothing could make me prouder than raising kids who grow up to honor God with their sincere devotion to him and stay committed for a lifetime. Third, about my not